Well, manufacturing in this country remains a force in the national economy and is a cornerstone of our state's current resurgence. Yet the sector is vastly different than just 20 years ago, due in great part to lean management practices and innovation and technology. Earlier, I sat down with the Department of Commerce's Deidre Myers to take a look at manufacturing in this week's Economic Snapshot. Deidre, are there misconceptions about manufacturing, not only here in Oklahoma, but really across the nation?
I think there definitely are, Rob. There has been a big change and an evolution in manufacturing. And manufacturing today is not what manufacturing was like in the 1970s or 1980s. So when people say, well, manufacturing is a dying industry, they're somewhat correct in that the old manufacturing is definitely gone. That kind of manufacturing has been offshored because it doesn't require a knowledge or a skill. So you want to go to the very cheapest labor possible. And those, quite frankly, aren't the jobs that we want Oklahomans to have. We want Oklahomans to have jobs that have good wages so that they can invest in their household and have economic opportunities for their children. How manufacturing has changed is that it has become much more specific. It has become much more oriented towards a particular knowledge or a particular skill. It's become much more technical, oriented towards computer systems. And so the people who work in manufacturing are actually very, very skilled and have very high wages. Also, the environment is very different. A lot of people have this old idea of manufacturing like in the steel mills of the upper Midwest, and that's not it at all. Manufacturing is in a clean room where everything is measured in nano and micro, and so it's a very different type of industry today, but it's thriving in Oklahoma.
And let's talk more about that. You say it's thriving in Oklahoma. We're actually seeing some growth in the sector?
Absolutely. Over the past year, Oklahoma manufacturing has actually grown by 5%. And over about the past 18 months, Oklahoma has ranked in the top 3 in terms of year-over-year growth rate in the entire U.S. If we look at just the last year, there are 18 states that had no manufacturing growth or manufacturing loss. However, Oklahoma has grown by over 5%. Now, a lot of that is around the energy and aerospace. For instance, we manufacture a lot of the pumps, valves, and compressors that are being used in the current extraction that's going on, the energy revival of the entire Midwest, particularly in North Dakota and Western Canada. So we're exporting those goods to those other states and to other countries and creating a lot of wealth for Oklahomans.
Now, what can we do as a state to ensure that this growth continues?
Well, the number one thing is workforce. We have an older workforce in terms of the production occupations that go into manufacturing, and so we're going to have a lot of people retiring. When we look at the next 10 years, we're going to need nearly 90,000 people trained in particular occupations that are either producing manufactured goods or transporting them to markets. And so that's something that we need to think about, is how do we educate students who are in school today that manufacturing is a wonderful career opportunity, high wages, and it has a lot of opportunity. And how do we get them trained into those career pathways? The other thing we've got to do is remember that there's a pipeline. And like any kind of career, you want to advance. So you don't just stop once you get a skill. You continue to grow throughout your work life and continue to get other skills so that you continue to increase in terms of your wages and the abilities that you have.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate your insights. Deidre Myers with Oklahoma's Department of Commerce.